Hello everybody, welcome to the JavaScript course. In this video, I'm going to discuss strings in JavaScript. First, I would like to set up a string, and I would like to pick up some characters from a string using some syntax. And I would also like to introduce some methods to help us specify or indicate a part of a string in JavaScript. These methods are indexOf, includes, and slice methods. Now, let us see the HTML file first. The HTML file is pretty simple. I have a title and a heading. And this JavaScript file is going to link to the HTML file. The JavaScript file is called myscript.js, which is stored in the JS folder. And let me go to the JavaScript file. Since I want to use the strict mode, I just say use strict on the first line of the JavaScript file. And now I would like to set up a string. Okay, I just used the let keyword to set up a variable, and then that variable has a content called this string. And the content of a string is embraced by a pair of single quotation marks or a pair of double quotation marks. And we have to notice something. The string in JavaScript is 0 indexed. That means the first character belongs to index 0. So let me see an example. If I say my string 0, what would happen? So if I say my string 0, what would be shown on the web page? Save, reload. Yes, you'll see that I get A, which means that index 0 refers to the first character. And how about putting a number that is beyond the length of the string? It is very clear that I would see undefined. So how about number 6? If the index is 6, it should be impossible because this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 6 is already beyond the allowed index of my given string. In this case, it is quite sensible to say that the output should be undefined. So let me see. Save, reload. Yes, you can see that the answer is undefined because index number 6 is already beyond the allowed index of the myString content. And if I want to show the length of a string, there is a way to do so. Let me show you my approach. The idea is to use the .length property. Okay. Save. Reload. Yes, you see 6. So 6 is just meaning the number of letters or characters in a given string object. The next part is to talk about the way to loop over every character in a string. So if I use my string shown here, how can I show all the characters one by one? I can use a for loop to help me do it. So if I say let char of my string, it is going to pick up one of the characters from the given string each time, and the picking up is following the order shown in the myString object. So let me see the result. Save, reload, A, and then B, C, D, E, and F finally. So I just use a for loop to loop over each of the characters in a given string. And we have to notice one thing about the string object in JavaScript. We cannot change a character of a given string. That means when the string is already set up, it is impossible to change the content after this assignment. So let me see an example to indicate this idea. So now I have a new string called another string, and the content is another thing other than the string I used. So if I want to indicate a certain character in a string, I can just use the index. But is it possible to assign another new letter into a certain index? It is impossible. Suppose I want to change the first character to a capital letter. You may think about it in this way. I just do the assignment. I just put the capital letter into the corresponding index of my string. But in JavaScript, it is not allowed. So let me see the result. Save. Reload. Oh, I have to do the alert first. So save. Reload. Yes, you can see that it is not allowed because this action fails in JavaScript. So in this case, this sentence becomes an error, and I can never go forward to another line of my code. So let me try to comment it out, and then I do the reload action again. Save. Reload. Yes, you can see that the string can come out again. So when you show this kind of instruction, JavaScript doesn't allow you to go further. The script was just stop at this place. Okay, so we have to notice that we cannot change a character of a string after it has been already declared. So if I want to change the content after I have set a string, the only way to do it is reassign a string. So how can we do the reassignment? Let me show you the approach. Now suppose this string is already existing in my code. Now you see that I do the reassignment of the entire string so that the first character becomes a capital letter. And you see, I just use the original variable and I don't use the let keyword again because this variable already exists. And in this case, I can really do the assignment. So save, reload. Yes, you can see that the first letter, which is capital S, is shown up in the alert window. So we have to do the reassignment completely. We cannot just assign any of the existing characters into a new one, okay? Okay, let us introduce another important method in JavaScript strings called indexOf methods. The purpose of having the indexOf method is to return the position of the first occurrence of a given string. Okay, so what does it mean by this sentence? Let me show you another example by setting up another string first. So now I have another new string called a new string, and I have an apostrophe in the string. That's why I would use a backslash in here to show the apostrophe, okay? And for this purpose, I use double quotation marks in order to distinguish it from the apostrophe, which can also serve as a single quotation mark. So if I want to find out the index of the first occurrence of a certain letter, I can use the indexOf method like this one. I want to see the location of letter A in my string. Now you can see that I have 1, 2, and 3 A's in my string. So the indexOf method will just show the first occurrence. So you can see that the first occurrence should be number 5 or index 5. Why? 0, 1, and 2 for apostrophe, 3 for S, 4 for the space, and A for 5. And the indexOf method is just going to show this particular index because A is shown for the first time in the string. Okay, so let me see the result. Save. Oh, I have a typo here. So let me remove one L from the alert keyword. Save. Reload. Yes, you can see number 5 because this number 5 refers to the first occurrence of letter A in the given string. And how about other A's in my string? The indexOf method doesn't care about those upcoming A's. Okay. And the indexOf method can have more than one argument. So let me see another way to use the indexOf method by including more than one argument. Okay, this sentence is going to say that I want to find out the index of this character A, starting from index number 6. So we know that this A means index number 5. So the search is starting from this particular space of this string. So it is possible to show this particular A, and this method is going to tell this particular index of the character. So let me see. Save. Reload. Yes, you see 9 rather than 5 because we started with this particular space which has an index of 6 in my string. So 6, 7, 8, and 9. So index 9 is for this particular A, which is the second A in my given string. So what would happen if a certain letter cannot be found in the string? Let me show you my way to indicate this particular example. Suppose I want to find out the index of this particular string called week, but you see the sentence has no such word in it. So you can expect that the search is really unsuccessful. In this case, I would have -1 as my answer. Save. Reload. Yes, -1 is given out. It shows that the index cannot be found. That means this part or this string doesn't really exist in my given string. Okay. You can also see that the indexOf method can help us find out the first occurrence of a given string rather than a certain letter alone. Okay. And the next part is to talk about the includes method of a string. So this method is going to return true or false to indicate that whether a certain string exists in a given string. So if it exists, the answer would be true. If it doesn't exist, I would see false. For this example, I would like to see whether the word day exists in this given string. So you see day is here, so you would expect true as the answer. Save. Reload. Yes, it is true because that portion of a string really exists in my given string called new string. On the other hand, if the string or certain character doesn't exist in my string, what would be returned by the reincludes method? Let me see. Okay, I would like to find out the word called week in a given string. Is it really possible? It is not possible. So let me see the result. Save. Oh wow! Oh, I have to remove this particular full stop and save. Reload. Yes, it is false. So this part of a string isn't existent in my given string, so I will have false as the answer. The final example is to introduce the slice method of a string in JavaScript. The general format is like this. I use the slice method, and I have to indicate the start of my slicing index. And it is optional for me to include the ending index in my method. So this portion isn't a mandatory part of the index method. The purpose of using the slice method is to return part of a string from the start and just before the ending index. So let me see an example to indicate the way to use the slice method. So I would like to show the new string, but I don't show the entire new string. I just want to show index 0 up to or before index 3. So it means that I will show index 0, index 1, and index 2. So it is possible to have I, T, and apostrophe. So let me see the result. Save. Reload. Yes, you can see that the string is like this. 0 is referring to capital I. 1 is referring to small letter t, and index 2 is referring to the apostrophe. Okay, so in this case, the slice method includes the end. And how about the situation without including the optional part called end? Let me show you another example. So now I want to slice starting from index 5. So when we go back to the string, index 5 should refer to letter A, which is the first A in the given string. So it is sensible to expect that the answer should be a beautiful day. So let me see the result again. Save. Reload. Yes, I can see a beautiful day, sorry, because I start with the first A in my given string. So this is the situation when I don't include the ending index. It means that I just show all the characters starting from the starting index. Okay. And it is quite special that the slice method can allow negative indices. So what does it mean by negative indices in JavaScript? It just means that counting is starting from the far right. So the last character is -1, the second last character is -2, and so on. So in my given example, this is referring to index -1, and this part is referring to index -2, and so on. So let me show you a simple example. What would happen if I want to do the slicing from index -8 to index -2? I would have this kind of situation. Index -8 is referring to that one. -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So -8 refers to this letter I. And negative index 2 is A. So in this case, I don't show index -2 because I just want to show the letter just before that index. So I will just show index -3, which is D in my case. So let me see the result. Save. Reload. Yes, you see I would show IFUL space and D. D is the third last character, and since this is the ending part of the slice, I don't show it out. I just show the letter just before this ending index, and I will just start with index -8, which is this I, and then I will go forward until I meet the second last character in my given string, and I will stop before showing that particular ending index. That's why I will have D as the answer. So this video has already discussed a lot of ways to handle strings. We know the way to specify the index of a certain character in a string. We can loop over every single character in a string. We have to notice that we cannot change a character of a string after it has been assigned. We can just do reassignment of the entire string. Also, I have discussed the indexOf method to indicate the index of a certain character in a string. Okay, and I also introduced the includes method to see whether a string is present in a portion of a given string or not. Finally, I introduced the slice method, which can indicate the starting index and the ending index of a given string, and then I just show up the portion indicated by these two indices. And of course, we have to notice that we don't show the ending index directly, we just show the character just before that ending index. This is the end of the video. If you have any questions about my video, please leave your questions on the comment section below the video. If you like this video, please give me a like and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.